So, to begin, Urban Wealth Management has started the Smart Women Savvy Money series, primarily because we realize that women approach money and handling money very differently. And so we want to be able to create an environment that is safe, secure, and allows us the opportunity to learn on our own, using our own natural strengths. So as a result of that, we decided to come up with this series. And there will be several topics that we have lined up for you for the balance of the year and well into 2016. Can't believe we're mid-year of 2015. They will all be designed to be 20 minutes worth of content and 10 minutes worth of conversation, and giving us an opportunity to talk about some of the information we're talking about today. So this very first slide of Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I'm sure, hopefully many of you read that book. Not only did it spawn John Gray's and catapult him into a tremendous career, and there were several books that were written on the subject, but it also opened up and shed light on some of the major differences from a relationship perspective about how men and women are so different, how we process information, what motivates us, how we approach life, how we handle our emotions, and of course, how we view money. And as probably many of you in the call know, that money issues is one of the primary issues that are problems that couples experience and end up causing divorce. So that also does cross over into our daily lives as well. And it will give us an opportunity to really identify what are those differences and how can we work together. It's not that a man's way of doing and approaching certain situations, money management included, is better. It's just different. And similarly, how it's different with us. So I'm going to show you a picture that I think is quite indicative of how we approach life, how women think. We are constantly in motion. We are constantly thinking about other things other than maybe what's sitting right in front of us. Let me give you an example. Have you ever walked into a store with a specific idea of what you needed to get? And when we walk into that store, we notice everything, the lights, the displays, the colors on the rack. I've done this myself. But I've also observed women as they're walking through the store, they touch all of the things that they pass by. It's just how we take everything in. We're very much sensory driven, and we're stimulated by all of those things. Invariably, when we walk in that store with one thing in mind, we walk out with something else that caught our eye. But also while we're shopping, we're thinking about other things, picking up the kids, what we're going to wear tomorrow, where we're going to what we're going to prepare for dinner. We multitask and we multi-think. So we are constantly in this whirlwind of trying to contain our thoughts and put them in a nice, neat little bubble. If you've ever observed men walking into a store, they say they need a pair of black pants. They walk into the store, and the first pair of black pants that they see and that fit them, they walk out the store with it. They're very focused on what they need. And unlike a woman, a man thinks like a Rubik's Cube. They're constantly moving and shifting and compartmentalizing. And so they can be very contained as they're going through their thinking process. Men and women think differently. One's not bad, one's not necessarily good, but they're different. And so if we learn how to harness what those differences are, then we will be in a better position to understand how we approach things differently. The issue, I think, more importantly, is that if we acknowledge that men and women are different, and I think we all do, then why, oh why, are we as women being taught and encouraged to handle our money and our finances the same way that a man does? It's just the only way so far that we've been able to experience money management. But before we get into that part of it, let's move on to the next piece that I want to show you. We've come a long way. And as most of you know, we still are only earning about 75 cents on the dollar compared to men. However, we've made some significant strides. And some of those strides are in the way of income and wealth. The latest U.S. Census shows that almost 25% of women are out-earning their male partners, and that number is growing. According to a 2012 Family Wealth Advisors Council report, women control 51%, or $14 trillion in the United States, and that's expected to grow to $22 trillion in the next 10 years. And finally, the Boston College Center on Wealth and Philanthropy predicts that women will inherit 70%, or roughly $28 trillion, through transfer of wealth over the next 2 to 3 decades. And that will come about through inheritance, also marital assets that are being split, and some of that will come from our own hard work. But that's a significant figure. And I will tell you that being in the financial services industry, the industry is very much focused on those dynamics, those statistics. There's a very troubling statistic that has really upset a number of, let's say, predominantly male industry, and the majority of advisors and financial advisors are men. The statistic is that 80% of widows leave their financial advisor that was shared with their now deceased spouse once the spouse passes away, 80%. And that number is actually climbing, and that's primarily because the financial advisor, who's a man, pretty much related all of their discussions and geared it towards men, even in these days and times. So there hasn't been a full engagement of, number one, including the woman in the conversation, but more importantly, still using some of the old style ways of discussions around money management, which is around performance and not necessarily what money will do. But here's the other troubling part of this. We are standing in a position where we have gained a substantial amount of wealth over the years, but there's a disconnect, and we're falling short in the game of financial management. Even though we are controlling considerably more wealth here in the United States, and this is more of a global phenomenon, but let's just say here in the United States, this is what we're seeing happening. Elderly women represent a disproportionate number of those living in poverty, almost 90%. Women live longer, but we've not adequately prepared for the likelihood of longevity. The longevity in this case, many of us will live well into our 90s and into our 100s. And finally, poverty really is a woman's issue. Nearly 6 in 10 adults, poor adults, are women. So we've got to turn this tide. We are the recipient of a tremendous amount of wealth, but we have to put into place some skill sets that will allow us to manage it properly. So ladies, how do we rewrite this story? Because we can do it. We have the skill sets. We just have to look at things a little bit differently and use our God-given talents in order to turn it around. So here are some of our natural strengths. First thing is being inspired by Eleanor Roosevelt. We must do the thing we think we can't do. I can't tell you how many women say, you know, that's just kind of over my head. I don't really have the skill sets or the mind to do that. And they are typically very, very successful women, managing millions for corporations. They may have their own businesses, but when it comes to handling their checkbook, they kind of fall short. So here's some of our natural strengths, and will give us the ability to turn that into something positive. First of all, women are purpose-driven. We have this idea that money is a means to an end. And for most men, money is the means. Money is the end game, and that is their purpose. As a result, we then focus on what can our money do, whether it's to help the community at large, make sure we live a long life. We're also nurturing. We want to embrace our desire to help others and our communities through philanthropy. A short story, by all accounts, Joan was a very simple person, very quiet spoken. She did a lot of volunteer work and very much dedicated to her work. She even drove a late model auto. But no one knew what a powerhouse she was financially when she passed away in 2006, not even her children. Joan Pawlewski's gift of over $200 million here in the Los Angeles area went to the California Community Foundation. And this is an example of how a woman used her wealth to help change the world. There are many more like her, and we probably are familiar with stories of women who might have been maids or were restaurant workers and saved all of their money or a substantial part of their money to give away to a university or to a particular charity that they felt was doing good work. That's how we think. We want to create, we're purpose-driven, and we're nurturing. We also like to learn in communities. We like to join. So part of this process of learning how to be more savvy with our money is to be in a community, be in an environment that is conducive to learning, where you feel safe and secure to ask questions, get down to the bottom of get the right answers to managing your wealth, and never feel like you're asking a dumb question. That oftentimes comes up in conversations with a number of women who felt that they couldn't speak to their male financial advisor or their husband's financial advisor because they didn't want to feel that they were stupid. So being in a secure environment is very important. We are multitaskers and multi-thinkers, as I mentioned at the top of the call. So we need to have a process. We need to be proactive. We like to check off our list. I got that done. I'm moving on to the next thing. I got that done. We need to have that in place to help pour our energy into a place and in a manner that will really help us to understand our strengths here, but put that power into managing our money and our finances in a much more organized way. And then finally, communication is important. We want to feel that we have the ability to speak with someone who will understand us and to develop a long-term relationship. Most of the clients that I've had are long-time relationships. 20 years, 15 years have been women because we've built that relationship and we can communicate often. So, finally, in summary, what do women want? We want to feel confident in making financial decisions. We want to make sure that we have the right information. We are purpose-driven, and we want to align our wealth and our money with our values. We want to learn about finances in a safe and secure environment. We want to have a process and be able to have a roadmap as much as possible about how to get from point A to point B. We want to make a difference and create impact in our communities. We want to also understand how can you use the strengths that you have to create a new paradigm. And most importantly, to be able to use your wealth to create the lifestyle you desire and that you deserve. So to that end, we want to share with you our mission statement, which is to provide the supportive and secure environment where women will be encouraged to explore, learn, and become more savvy with their money. And our vision is that every woman will be able to live a life of her design using her wealth to fulfill her dreams, enjoy her passions, and expand her interests. To that end, with the Smart Women Savvy Money program, this is the launch of the first webinar. It will be held the second Thursday of every month at 1 o'clock. We have a tremendous and very robust blog that will cover and is covering a number of different items, everything from personal finance to retirement planning. And we're introduced recently lifestyle topics because we don't want it to all be about money and finance. So we have a stylist. We have a couple of stylists that will be contributing to our blog. We also have a tech diva who will be talking about how to get familiar with certain mobile apps and some of our handheld apps, phones and devices that we use. And she actually will be a guest speaker for our August edition. But we want to have a holistic approach because we are women that are born from a variety of different backgrounds and have a variety of interests. The longevity planning forums, which some of you on the call have been to, have been a great success, and it is focused on a holistic approach around living longer and what does that mean. And we'll also have a series of special events. Finally, we have, just as an example of some of the blogs that we have, we are posting them every day. And we actually would invite you to read those and give us feedback. What other kinds of things would you like to hear about? So we'd like for you to begin the journey and take the quiz that you actually just saw there on the website. And with that, the links that are here on the wall, the quiz of what's important to you, and also the resource list. Now, the resource list was something I thought would be great for each call. This book, Sacred Success, by the author of Barbara Stanny, you may be familiar with her. She actually has written several books, one of which is Prince Charming Isn't Coming. But also her story is extremely provocative because she's come from wealth and actually lost a lot of it and has worked her way back. Her father was the R and H&R Block, just to give you an idea. But this is her latest book, Sacred Success, which looks at incorporating a lot of the things that we're talking about today, women's strengths, but from a particularly different perspective, and includes interviews by a number of wealthy women. You also have links in here for some of the studies that I referenced during our talk today, and I think that you'll find it especially invigorating because they are constantly being updated. The Wiser.org, wiserwomen.org, is actually founded by the Heinz Family Philanthropies, Teresa Heinz. Heinz Ketchup. Here's another example of a woman who has taken her wealth and has created a organization, a nonprofit that focuses on creating secure lifestyles for women, particularly in retirement. So I invite you to take advantage of that resource list, which you will see at the conclusion of each one of our meetings. Finally, what's important to you is a quiz, a short quiz. The results will come back immediately to me, and you just point and click on some of the answers here. But also, it gives you an opportunity to think about what is your life's mission, how are you going to get there, and what's most important to you about money, and what do you fear most about it. So with that, I will open it up for questions and any comments. Feel free to make some comments about this if this is something that you have enjoyed today, or give us some comments. All right. Do I have any questions from anyone in the audience? It's pretty quiet out there. You can press I will unmute everyone here. Okay. So all of the calls are unmuted. If anyone has any comments, or you can send over something in the chat box.
Hello, Renee.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, great. This is Yolanda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. I just wanted to provide a comment. I really enjoyed the presentation, and I can say I'm really looking forward to the coming sessions. I think this is a great idea, and it'll be very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is Darlene. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Darlene.
Hi. My question is, right now, wherever any woman is in her life, what is the most important thing she should do to start for saving for her retirement? What is the most important thing she can do at this point?
I would say the most important thing to do is to stop exactly where you are right now and look at your cash flow. Everything starts from cash flow. What's coming in? What do you need to pay for every month? And then what's left over is discretionary monies. So once you have a handle on that, then you can begin to to start down the path of adding to what you already have. The second thing would be to do, as I call it, a scavenger hunt and look at all of your available resources for retirement. A lot of times when people have moved on from previous employment, they might have left some of their assets behind and some of their accounts behind. So you need to take an inventory of all of the things that you have. Then from there you can start to craft a plan about how to go about it, because if you don't have those two bits of information, then you'll be kind of working in the blind.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
I'm Allison. I was wondering if any of the future webinars will include some very basic information on investing, the types of investments and some of the vocabulary. I'm a total novice, so I was wondering.
Well, yeah, we actually will, and I neglected to mention what the other topics are. Can everyone see the screen here with the webinar series?
Yeah.
No.
If you can, no? Okay.
Well, I see your photo.
And then there's the meeting schedules here. So these links,
yes.
And we will send all of this to you at the conclusion. So you'll get the links for the quiz and also the resource list. We'll be sending that out to you. And a replay link. So for everyone that RSVP today, you'll get all of those things. But to answer your question, yes, there will be a variety of topics that we're going to cover that will be as basic as as we need them to be, or as sophisticated as someone might want it to be. There's a little bit of something in each one. So next month's program is No Bag Ladies Here: How to Create an Income That You Can't Outlive. We'll also have other topics along the lines of identity theft, how to protect yourself. We'll do actually at the end of the year some tax tips before the year is out, things that you need to consider and take care of before the year is done, changes that you can make in your own personal finances and in investment accounts, retirement accounts, and things of that nature. So we're going to have a variety of them, and they're all available on our website at urbanwm.com in the blogs and event section, as well as all of the scheduled seminars that we have through the balance of the year.
Oh, sounds great. Thank you, and I hope I can refer a friend or two.
Absolutely.
To the
that
event.
would be great. That would be great. Okay.
Thank you. I'm calling from Georgia.
Oh, wow. Welcome. Welcome.
I was referred by a friend who lives in LA. So.
All right.
That's
fantastic.
Nice.
Fantastic. Yeah. We like to hear that. Well, we will have a variety of different speakers over the next several months. I neglected to mention also one of our longevity planning forum speakers also will be speaking on yoga, how to be mindful during the holiday season. So we've got a variety of different topics and ideas that we hope that you guys will enjoy. All right, we're at the top of our 30 minutes. As promised, we wanted to make sure that we make it short and sweet so everybody can get on with their day. But we thank you all for joining today's call, and you will be getting the link for the replay as well as the quiz and the resource list.
Thank you very much, Renee.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was fun.